Ladies and gentlemen,
I do have one thing for one.
Willow is coming back for a
Yay!
limited series on Disney Plus. Um, I think this is really cool. From the Star Wars website itself, they say Willow coming to Disney Plus will be set decades after Ron Howard's 1988 movie, continuing the spirit of adventures, heroics, and humor of the original film. Warwick Davis will return in the role of the great sorcerer Willow Ufgood, with John Chu, director of Crazy Rich Asians, directing the pilot. Willow begins shooting next March in Wales and will debut on Disney Plus in 2022. I think this is really cool. I think this is a really fun idea. I've always loved Willow. Willow's always had a special place in my heart. One of the little sprite characters. Oh shoot, one of them was
One of the brownies.
yeah, one of the brownies. Um, we're friends on Facebook, and now that I say that, I can't think of his name. He plays Pam's father in The Office. There's like a small little quick cameo where he plays Pam's father. Not even worth mentioning, so I don't even know why I did it. Hello, name drop that I can't remember the name. But this is such an endearing property, and I think given today's technology, the way that the film industry has progressed, I think a lot of us would like to see what a 2022 Willow would look like. I think it's really cool. I think there's a lot of different stories that we can see kind of happen within this universe. Because with the series, I mean, it has a film and now a series, they're probably going to have to expand the universe. Excuse me, or maybe the world. Expand the world of Willow a little bit. Doubtful that we're gonna get Mad Mardigan.
Oh man, I wish.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
It's possible. But again, like if you're doing a Willow series, you have to introduce new characters. You have to give them new adventures. And if it's just going to be Willow as the new sorcerer, or as well, I guess it's what, like 30, almost 40 years later, close to it.
Yeah.
Wow, 35 years later. He and Mad Mardigan, get them to go off and go on their adventures. I don't know. I feel like they need other influences and other characters
but
here.
but I could see a cameo. I mean, Val Kilmer's one of my utmost favorites, so I could definitely see episode 7 or something, and they've come across a small hut in the middle of the forest, and oh look, who is it? I did in the concert of toys. Because it's nearby. I have. Let's see if I can make sure my screen doesn't cover this a little bit. This is my Willow toy from like McDonald's or something back then. It's ridiculous. Cast iron base, and that's hardened plastic that I'm sure has asbestos or something inside it. Well, the base is definitely a metal base, and I mean it's Tonka that made it. I don't know. I don't know where. I can't remember what fast food industry. I very much distinctly remember getting it though. Yeah, I mean, look at Game of Thrones. It was great for a lot of people. I watched the whole thing, whether I enjoyed all of it or not, it's irrelevant because I watched it all. I think Willow is another sword and sorcery show that I think has got the acclaim, and we're of the age that we want to see it. So I think that this is a really awesome opportunity that we're hitting that we don't get right. We've got The Witcher, which is hitting that sort of taste, but we're behind on that because of COVID. This will be a new one that we also get that lovely feel of with magic and swords.
I want to touch on something that you just said about making the Game of Thrones comparison. One of Game of Thrones is wonderful, or rather, the first few seasons are absolutely incredible. Last season was divisive in
last two
seasons, very, very divisive. But one of my critiques, and this is nothing against Game of Thrones as an entity. Well, maybe it is as an entity. For my taste, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more sorcery in it. There was sorcery that happens, but it's not the main focal point of the story. And that's fine, because it gets to be what it was telling the story that George R. Martin wanted to tell, right? And he didn't want to include too much sorcery. He wanted it to be more about the characters and the politics in this world. Totally
Such
fine.
as perhaps the first the prequels to the Star Wars movie series about politics.
And if that's a story you want to tell, fine, you
Great.
go for it. It's just not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, most of us may not want that.
But I do love that when you call it sword and sorcery. That's a term that I haven't heard for a while. But
know.
it puts it so succinctly. That's one of the things that I love about Lord of the Rings. That's one of the things that I love about the original animated Rankin and Bass film, The Hobbit. The live action films not so much. And also Willow. I love that aspect of Willow, and even maybe to a certain extent, the Never-Ending Story.
Never-Ending Story, Legend.
Yeah.
We get such really good. This era, late '80s, early '90s, was full of some really cool storytelling with some great actors, with a lot of fog machine in the forest.
Yeah.
And what was at the time some impressive special effects, and now is most ridiculous. I mean, I could do much better on my cell phone, let alone any of the other stuff. So if this is an opportunity to bring back that style, but also take us into a magical realm where we get some magic, man, I think it's gonna be a blast. And if we get to have some really cool cameos, all the better, because everyone's still around mostly.
I don't see. Okay, so earlier I said, I don't see Mad Mardigan being in the film, but making a cameo in maybe like one episode, that I could see.
Look at Mandalorian, the amount of people that show up and come and go as they please because they can. I think this is definitely going to be the same case. And if not, you know that someone like Val Kilmer is sitting there going like, oh, I'm on board. They asked me, weeks ago, like, or I'm just sitting by the phone waiting for them to call because I want to be back on board with something as fun as that.
Question is for you guys. What do you want to see from Willow? What characters do you think that they're going to bring back? And what would you like to see happen? Like, where do you want the story to go? What do you want it to be about? What kind of a quest? Because, come on, Willow is going to go on a quest. Or maybe Son of Willow is going to go on a quest. But I have a feeling it's going to be Willow proper. Anyway, what do you guys think? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.
Spill those brains.
Jump on down in the comment section below and spill your brains. It'll take a minute for me to let it latch on. But hey, everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Scrooge McDuck would want you to do. DuckTales, woo!